Last week I used this gadget to try and make perfect rice balls. Let's just say it wasn't a complete disaster, but it didn't turn out too well either. But then, hundreds of you pointed out the same thing. Apparently, my rice was too soggy, and you couldn't believe I didn't own a rice cooker. So, I bought one. And today we're going to find out, is this gadget actually brilliant, or is it still useless even if everything's done properly? So, you were right, despite all the kitchen gadgets I've tested, I didn't actually own a rice cooker before. And not only that, I don't know how to use one, so this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for me. This one's just been delivered, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to buy one. So, to begin with, it looks like there's quite a few bits. I hope this thing's not too complicated, and it better cook nice rice. Oh, check this out. There's like a spring-loaded heater element. Okay, that bit stays in there. It doesn't come out. There's this bit with a removable plastic colander, and I noticed on the inside of this bowl there's a measuring scale. It also came with this little measuring cup, but can I actually follow the instructions and make perfect rice? First of all though, I'm giving everything a good wash. And now it's all dried, let's get cooking. I read in the instructions that this colander is actually for steaming things, so we don't need it for cooking rice. And I'm going to use this sushi rice again. It is sticky, and from what I've read, it should work well for rice balls. Okay, so number 1 in the instructions is to use the measuring cup to put the rice in the bowl. I'm doing a full cup, and I'm going to follow these instructions meticulously to try and make the perfect rice for the gadget. Step 2 says to fill the bowl up with water to the number which corresponds to the number of cups of rice used. So I need to pour water in until it reaches the number 1 on the scale. But as I was pouring it in, I suddenly remembered some of the comments from the last video. It was something along the lines of, "Dave, wash the rice!" So before we go any further, I'm doing exactly that. I'm putting it all into this sieve and running clean water through it. I gave it a good wash and then drained as much water out as I could. And I returned it to the bowl. So now my rice is nice and clean and I can fill the water back up to level 1. But I'm curious to know, do you always wash rice before cooking it? Let me know in the comments. Now that's up to level. Next it says we have to give the bowl a quarter of a turn each way to ensure the bowl makes good contact with the elements. Step number 4 says put the lid on. Then put the plug into the power socket. Okay, I'll just undo this and plug it in. Then we have to move this little switch to the on position, and it says to move this switch to the 1 squiggly line side. But it's not really a switch. Oh, I see, you can push it down and up. And the next step says to switch it over so it lights up the 3 lines. Okay, so I think we press that down and leave it like this. Step number 7 says when the rice is cooked, the switch will move to the 1 line side and the 3 line light will go off and the light on the other side will come on. Okay, I'm a little bit confused, but I think it'll automatically switch back up. I think the red light indicates it's cooking, and when it's done, it switches over to the orange side, which keeps it warm. So let's try making perfect rice. Okay, so it hasn't taken long and I can see condensation building up in the lid. And there's also a little bit of steam coming out of this hole. Then after about 10 minutes, I heard the switch automatically click up. So the next stage is, apparently we need to leave the rice waiting for about 10 minutes. Okay, so number 9 says put on the oven gloves, and then lift off the lid, carefully tilting it to direct the steam away from me. And what's really cool is you can actually hook the lid onto the handle here. Oh, and I was also supposed to turn it off. Then it says to lift the bowl out and sit it onto a heat-resistant mat. It'll be fine on this cooling rack. And finally, number 12, use the spatula to turn and mix the rice to let the steam escape. Oh, I'm excited about this. Yeah, it's looking good. And check it out, that pretty much looks like perfect rice. I've got to admit, it's a lot better than I cooked last time. But does it make a difference for the rice ball maker? Now, some people commented that I should have let the rice cool down before turning it into balls. So today I'm going to make sure we try both. I'll try it with this warm rice, and afterwards I'll let it cool down and we'll see if it makes any difference. The rice feels nice and sticky, but it goes into the moulds well. And with them all full, we close over the lid and start shaking. I do really like the noise it makes when they're slapping around inside. And check it out, even before I open it, that's looking promising. Oh, that is awesome. How easy was that? They've come out perfectly. Yeah, okay, I definitely got it wrong last time. I'm impressed. You might get a tiny bit of rice falling off here and there, but look how round they are. I'll sit those here for later. I've got to try that again. Look at that, 3 perfect rice balls every time. Well, what else can I say? Pretty cool, huh? If you're enjoying this video, I've got loads more coming soon. So make sure you subscribe because you won't want to miss them. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get this channel to 10 million subscribers. Okay, so I've let the rice cool down now. It actually feels even stickier. It's clumping up a little bit, but let's fill up the mold and see if it works just as well. Give it a really good shake and... well, the top two have come out quite well, but the bottom one has broken up a bit. I'll try shaking it some more. It's kind of made two different pieces. This bit... oh, blimey. And then there's this bit here too. Maybe I put too much rice in. I'll try closing it down now and giving it another shake. And that's looking a lot better. But it's not really stuck together as well as it did when it was warm, actually. The other balls are okay though. I'll quickly try it again. So I filled it up again and I'll give it another quick go with the cold rice. And this time... no, pretty much the same thing again. The top two have worked, but because of the arc, I think you get less of a swing in the bottom capsule, so it doesn't bash it back and forth quite as ferociously when you shake it. So from my experience, I'd say to use it while the rice is still warm. As we've seen, if you've got the correct rice and if you cook it properly, then this gadget is definitely useful. And I'd also say the rice cooker is useful. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me testing it out for some one-pot recipes with different ingredients, and we can also test out the steamer. Okay, so last week the rice balls weren't very good, and somehow the faces I made looked even worse. They were nothing like the picture on the box, but in a moment I've got something which I'm hoping will help me recreate them perfectly. But do you remember seeing this? This is a meatball maker, and I want to see if this works to make rice balls. I'm just going to scoop up a load of rice and squeeze them as tightly together as I can, and when I open them, oh no, they seem to be just stuck up inside. I thought each half would stick together, but no. And I can't even get them out with my fingers. I'll push them out with this spoon handle, but no, that is a fail. But now, can I turn these into these? Either way, they need to look 10 times better than last time. So, I've brought sushi nori, proper sheets of seaweed which we're going to try using. These scissors cut it nicely. But now this bit is going to be really tricky. I've got to try and cut out all of the little bits for each little face. It's all so small and really fiddly. It's taken me ages, but finally I think I'm somewhere near. And I'm going to use this cocktail stick to help me apply them to each little ball. There's the first one done. For the second one I added the smile, then the eyes, and this little bit on top. And for the last one I'm starting from the top and working my way down. And to add a little bit of yellow blush on the cheeks, I'm mixing together some turmeric with water, and I'm going to try using a paintbrush to dab some on. And to be fair, that's actually working quite well. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. So the final stage is to display them on a lettuce leaf. This one goes at the top. Then this one here. And this one alongside. That definitely looks so much better than the last time. Maybe not quite as neat as the picture, but definitely respectable. And I thought I was done until I found this. It's a giant cat-shaped rice mold, complete with seaweed face stamps. If this works, we should end up with 4 cute faces. But if it doesn't, well, we might end up with something terrifying that leaves me mentally scarred. These stamps have got various faces, and it comes with this little silicone chopping mat too. And this cardboard opens up to give us some instructions for how to use it. First off, I gave everything a good wash. And now we're ready to clip together the mold. So this piece clips inside here, like this, and apparently we just fill it up nice and full with rice. I think this sushi rice should be ideal. Then we need to sit the back of the mold on, and squeeze the two halves together. Now it says to open it back up, and then apparently just flip it over. The handle then lifts off, and remove the top part. Oh, it's a bit stuck on. Ah, that's got it. Remove that bit of rice. And to be fair, that's looking really good. I'll just tuck this little bit in here. But how will the faces turn out? I'm going to try making all of them to see which comes out best. There's 3 on this mold, and 1 on this side, along with a paw print design and a fish at the bottom. So I cut out another piece of seaweed, and then placed it on the mat. Then I placed the stamp on top. I'm starting with this one. Line it up so it all fits, and push down. Okay. Well, that doesn't appear to have done anything. Maybe I didn't press hard enough. I'll try again, and this time apply some really firm pressure all over the mold. Well, I can definitely see some cuts in the seaweed, and if I peel it off, you can see there's some impressions. It's not cut all the way through like I was hoping, and look at this, when I try and tear them out, it's just ripping. What a disappointment. But then I realised something. Look at this, if I hold both stamps next to each other, the one I've been using isn't serrated, but all 3 faces on the other stamp are. I wonder if it'll make a difference. Let's find out. So I cut out another piece of seaweed and placed the other stamp on top. This time when I pushed it down, I could really hear it cutting. And look at that, it's actually stuck on the back. I'm going to push it further down, which should make sure each piece is cut out. Oh yeah, look at that. I'll poke all of the pieces out. And if I arrange them, our face is going to look like this. But how well will they transfer to the rice? I'm actually impressed with how well that stamp has cut them. They're pretty much perfect. And check it out, we've got a smiley little face. Is it a cat? Or maybe a bear? Either way, it's looking great, and I can even hold it in my hands. But was that just luck? Will it work with the other faces? I tried it again with this one, and again, it looks like it's worked. But as I was pushing out the pieces, I realised I hadn't fully covered the ears. So I'll have to cut some new ones out. And this time I'm going to try pushing the seaweed down onto the stamp. Okay. That seems to have worked, and it was quite easy. And I'll do the same on the other side too. Then I filled the mould back up with rice, and gave it a squeeze, and... oh no! I must have pushed too hard from the back without holding the front. I'll squeeze it a little bit more like this. Oh blimey, I've made a bit of a mess. Turn it over next to the first one, and again it's worked nicely. I'll add all of the features. And it's looking really cool. But what's the third one like? I made another face and cut out the seaweed. I placed on all of the features. And there we go. How cool are they? But what I realised then is I can use cheese or ham with the original stamp that isn't serrated. So I lined it up and gave it a push. Then I turned it over to make sure all of them are cut through, and I realised I'd only done half an ear again. Oh! But it doesn't matter, it's easy enough to make another. And for this face, I'm actually going to try brushing on some soya sauce to add some colour. It's working really well, it colours the rice nicely. I'm going to stop there and add some features. These are my cheese ears. And I actually made some seaweed eyelashes. Then I placed on the eyes, the nose, and these little whiskers. They're a little bit hard to see, but it does look really cool. And I'm placing a little bit more seaweed on for the eyes. What do you think of that? Pretty cool, huh? But will this paw print design turn out just as well? I pressed it down onto the seaweed and turned it around, and check it out. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Peel the seaweed off, and any that haven't cut all the way through are nicely perforated, so you can just pull them off. Then I poked out the others, and for this design, I'm using one of the rice balls. It's a little bit fiddly, but that's awesome. This definitely deserves a place in the useful category too. But if you want to see what happened when I tried some other kitchen gadgets, like this vegetable spiralizer that attaches to a drill, you can click on the link here. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my new videos, and thanks for watching.